So once the amount of data increases and your system, not just the amount of data increases, but then once you start storing the data as a warehouse, then you primarily go for Teradata. But that doesn't mean that Teradata cannot function as a transactional database or a transactional relational database. It can, and it is far more efficient and faster than any other relational databases compared to DB2 and Oracle. Now, what is the difference? When they say that basically Teradata can handle and allows users to view and manage large amounts of data as a collection of related tables that can be accessed by both network attached and channel attached systems. Now, what is the difference between the two is, what are the network attached system and what is the channel attached system? In the network attached system, let's talk with the channel attached. Channel attached system is primarily for mainframes. Now you have a mainframe operation where you have where you have your batch processing or your stored procedures or anything which is related to anything which is written in either COBOL, or you want to write it as a simple as a control card in which you have a set of SQLs and you want to execute in a mainframe environment. You can do that through a channel environment, which means to say that Teradata provides you interface with mainframe, and once you log into the mainframe, you can, let's say you want to run a SQL in mainframe, you create a JCL, and they have provided you a utility called BTIC, which is a program, and that program you can it will take in as an input a control card assistant, and then in the control card you can write your JCL, so you can write your SQL, and it will go ahead and execute. So, or you can have Teradata like we have COBOL DB2 in which DB2 SQLs are embedded within a COBOL program. Same way Teradata SQLs can be embedded into a COBOL program and run as a batch. Also, we can, if a COBOL, if you have a control card and you can execute the BTIC step, and in the control card you can have a series of SQLs, one after the other, running in as a one session. And to handle that, Teradata provides a lot of other facilities, like you create volatile tables and temporary tables and global temporary tables. Those tables are available for the session, and there are some differences between what are volatile tables and what are global temporary tables, and we can go over it later, but it gives you an idea that you create some volatile table, run a spoofy, store into that volatile table can be used in the next SQL, and like this a series of SQLs connected with each other. Each SQL's output operation can be checked within using an if-else and statements, and you can even run same SQL multiple times using some do-while logic. They provide you error code checking facilities. So if SQL is if SQL gives a bad written code, you can amend that itself or jump to a next SQL, or you can even jump to you can skip few SQLs and jump to a logical point in the control card where you want to execute based on some business function. So all these features is primarily replaces the COBOL logic or any other programming logic. This is on the channel-based environment where it is running in mainframe. Or you have a network-based system where you log in into a Teradata. They provide you Teradata Assistant, wherein it's a window-based system, wherein you log in into, when you open the Teradata Manager or Teradata Assistant, SQL Assistant, it gives you a window wherein you can execute your SQL, and those are connected directly to the underlying, again it's an interface with your Teradata database. That interface is through the windows. The previous interface which we saw was through the mainframe. Now, when you do this Teradata interface through the windows, you have ODBC connections with your network, and you can specify the ODBC connections which will eventually connect it to your main database. Now, what is different between Teradata, which is, these are some of the high level things. Now what is, how Teradata is different from DB2 is primarily because how Teradata stores data. Teradata stores data on disks, like DB2 stores data on vSAN files or disks, but the way they store data facilitates parallel processing. For that, they have designed a system called AMP, which is Access Module Processing, and there is a logarithm, there is an algorithm based on which a given set of, let's say you have a table and the data within a table, how they will store in an AMP is based on their algorithm, but the way they store the data, it is faster to sort, group the data like in a group by, or do any kind of functioning or output conversion when you have some kind of data conversion on a particular column. All that is done parallelly within a particular access module. So there is a diagram for that, and I will show it to you. Basically, this is the diagram where it shows how each AMP is. There is a parsing engine on the top, there is a BINET, and these are access module processors, AMPs. Each AMP is connected to a disk storage. So let's say if you have a particular table, then the data within the table can be stored through there are various AMPs, and it is going directly and getting the data from the disk storage. So when you run a particular query, each query will be, once the query is actually distributed across all these AMPs. Each AMP is actually an access module. It's a way of getting the data. And they will go and get the data from their respective disks, wherever the storage is, and get the result out. And eventually the result will be accumulated and parsed by the parsing engines and provided in the output. So if you see, the same query gets executed parallelly across all the AMPs. I think it's not. You can stop here. I think we can, for the good amount of